Welcome. The week 7 edition of the Cash Process. I'm your host, Ben Hosser. I'm joined by Anthony Carson. AC, what a week it was. Another great week for the subscribers. Like, obviously, it was a great week for us because we're winning money. But for me personally, like, it's just so fun to get in the Discord on Sunday when we're doing good with the core plays and everyone's going crazy.
hmm
Like, it's literally the best thing. So, it was a big week for me. Got to 5-1 on DK, 4-2 on FanDuel. You stayed undefeated on FanDuel, 6-0, which is
Yep.
crazy. And I'm excited, man. I'm just feeling really locked in. I felt it like in the summer leading up to the season, and I just feel so good right now. So I'm excited for this
Yeah.
slate. Um, yeah, I'm excited. So tell me about your week, and then we'll kind of get in. I know we
The
both
vibes
yeah,
vibes are good right now.
we both
I'm vibing.
rode this Jamar Chase to the finish line on Sunday,
Yeah.
which was super fun.
Just oh yeah. We got a story with that too. But yeah, man, the vibes are good. This we've always had good NFL years, but I mean this is ridiculous. I mean, we're coming on here weekly saying it, but yeah, I'm 6-0 on FanDuel. It's amazing, not gonna lie. For you guys tailing the core plays, I am playing more on FanDuel this year. And I said it the last 3 weeks. I'll say it again to start the pod. DraftKings pricing has been more like FanDuel this year, just my 2 cents. And that's why I'm playing a lot more volume over there. And I got a lot of old FanDuel friends who have been DMing me personally that aren't even really talking in our Discord, Ben. And that's how this company started. It was all on FanDuel during baseball about 7 or 8 years ago. But there's people coming out of the woodwork checking my core plays. And you guys know I have like anywhere from 6 to 8 grand on my core play on FanDuel. And then DraftKings, I did well. I had the same cash lineup as you. We'll talk about that. It's always a brief recap. When you and I have the same exact lineup, although Higby didn't do anything for us, but I felt like you and I had the nut build, honestly, with Stevenson. And, we did go to Kamara kind of late. I think you and I both just recognized a lot of the stuff that was happening in New Orleans. There was just too many pass catchers out for me to avoid Kamara. He came up a yard short, by the way, of the 100-yard bonus. That was kind of tilting, but he was the right play. I guess I came off of can't even think of his name, Kenneth Walker, excuse me, but I played him on FanDuel. So I actually faded Stevenson on FanDuel for those that were asking in Discord for me to bring it up as to why. Like I knew he was going to be 80 to 90% owned, but on FanDuel, especially, like, touchdowns are so important that, it's a rare week when you get the news late on Daryl Henderson's availability at like 54K or 5,400, excuse me, on FanDuel. Benjamin was cheap. And then I just stuck with Kenneth Walker. So my build was different. And to your point with Jamar Chase, not going to lie, Ben, I'm going to take a step back here for the YouTube family. After that second touchdown, I was doing the little gritty, Ben. You see this? I can do it. The boomer in me, I can do the gritty. So I'm not going to lie. When he went off on that second touchdown, our Discord went crazy because we all were on Jamar. I mean, Matt, of course. I feel like he's always on Jamar, but
Yeah,
we basically won the
yeah.
slate when that happened. And I knew we wouldn't look back after that. Like, it's just awesome when you win a slate that early in the day. But yeah, it should be week 7 ahead, different little slate ahead of us. Not any huge totals, other than the Chargers game, and we'll get to that. But what else is going on? NBA is starting, right?
Yeah, NBA starting up. So if you guys are interested, now's a good time to sign up for the MVP membership on the website because you get access to NFL and NBA. And most importantly, like the video if you're watching, subscribe to the channel. We do these videos every single week. Anthony still has this open offer on the table. If we ever get 500 likes on a video, we will give away
Let's go.
$500 cash. So if you're watching this, you're new, or you've been watching the videos for the last few years that we've been doing them, be sure to like the video. And I had a good week on OwnersBox as well. So we just shout out our sponsors, OwnersBox Fantasy. You can see on the sidebar there, OwnersBox.online. Promo code KARMA gets you up to $500 deposit match. It gets you a free entry into their DFS tournament for the week. It gets you a free entry into Lightning lineups, which a lot of people on our Discord have been crushing that format as well. But yeah, it was really fun with that Jamar Chase. And then like you said, kind of just winning early. And it didn't really even matter what was going on in the late games when you get that early because he was
Yeah.
pretty low owned. And I was definitely tilting at halftime, man. Like you said, he had like 2 catches for 15 yards or something at halftime. But
Ben and I do not tilt really ever together. Once in a blue moon, I feel like we do. And I sent him
yeah,
a text. I was just curious. Like, was like, is Jamar? I knew he was playing, but didn't know if he was hurt. So I sent him a text like, is did we not make the right play? And I said, well, process wise, we did. I just assumed we lost Slate because he had 2 catches for 13 yards, and then he went literally nuclear in the second half there. So that was awesome. But I
Yeah.
digress. Let's get into week 7 already, man. I got everything up in front of me. The props comparison, the live odds, looking in at betkarma.com, and then again, Ben mentioned you can access all of our content, our core plays, our final thoughts, which is our cheat sheets, and of course the projections portal. I can't make a lineup on NBA, especially without the projections portal, because I do not have the time to study anymore with my little girl. So the projections portal is so awesome. People were asking this week, what's the best thing to look at? Like, we make it so easy, guys. The karma value is the color coded column that you want to filter, and the darker the color and the higher the number, those are the best plays for NFL and NBA, of course, as well as there's ownership projections. So let's get into the slate, Ben. Week 7, quarterback. Who are you looking at to start the week ahead?
Yeah. So this looks like a weird. This looks like a weird week to me. There's one good game, kind of like this has been the theme of the last, other than last week. It's kind of been there's like one good game each week, and that's kind of this week, right? There's 151 over under. Everything else is below 50. Um, I think at quarterback, I don't know how. I told you right before this we started this video that I was going to be really heavy on the Ravens this week. I think Lamar at 8K. We'll see about value and stuff later on the week, but I don't know how I don't play Lamar. I mean, look at the Cleveland is bottom 3 in overall defensive efficiency. I think they're second worst, and they have played Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, Marcus Mariota, Bailey Zappi. They haven't played. They played Justin Herbert, and obviously he did good, but they haven't really played any good quarterbacks, and they're still this bad on defense. So, what is Lamar going to do to this team? So I think he's the clear number 1 in my opinion. If you're looking for value, I mean, Geno is going to pop again. That's the 51 over under is Chargers Seahawks, and he's still, pretty cheap. But I think I'm probably going to want to get up to Lamar. Herbert in that game as well, 7,200 is definitely interesting. I think Geno's probably the clear value play, and then you have I'm not saying I'm going to play him, but Taylor Heineke's going to start for Wentz, and he's like 5K. So, he'll probably get in there. But there's other guys that are 5K. But this just looks like a Lamar week for me, I think, personally.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the money, Lamar. I mean, the Browns team is just, I mean, as I'm wearing my Browns sweatshirt right now, it's sickening. This defense is just I mean, there's just a bunch of names. I can't even put my finger on it. Like, I don't even want to talk
It's
about it because
bad.
it pisses me
It's,
off,
it's
but
really
they're
bad.
so bad. I will say Deion Jones might be playing this weekend, but not that that's going to change anything. They're so bad, and he historically shreds the Browns, anyways. Um, yeah, I mean, Geno, it's like the secret's out of the bottle, but we were on this weeks ago. I was week 3. I was looking back at my core plays this year, and I got to Geno like on a huge lineup on FanDuel and DraftKings kind of before he became a thing, but he will be popular at 5,600 probably for cash games. I'm looking at a quick, interesting tournament pivot. We like to talk 3 max entry tournaments. Mariota's at the same price. So if Geno gets steam, which he probably will, Mariota's right there, 5,500. Honestly, he's probably in cash games. I know he killed us earlier this year, but you got to figure that, the Bengals are going to put up a ton of points at home. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my head's at for sure. With with FanDuel too, pricing is a little bit different. So if you can get Lamar, it probably makes a lot of sense. But Herbert as well is obviously going to stick out on both sites as well, especially going against the Seahawks. All
Yeah,
right, you want to
yeah.
lead us off at running?
Yeah,
Go
let's
ahead.
move to running back. So I think Kenneth Walker at 58 is still too cheap, for sure. He'll definitely be pretty chalky in that game, especially you can definitely run on the Chargers. And he looked good, man. I mean, it was like a 50-50 snap rate at halftime, but he broke off a couple long runs, which that's kind of his profile, right? He's a big play guy. He runs really hard. So 5,800, I think he'll probably be the highest owned running back on the slate. You have this collection of 7K guys that are going to project fairly well. Leonard Fournette, Saquon Barkley. You could throw Joe Mixon in there as well. But I don't really see any running backs that stand out outside of Walker, who I'm assuming is going to be really chalky. Deion Jackson had that huge game for Indy last week, but I'm pretty sure JT is going to be back. Because I think he was pretty close to playing this past week. Now, if we get to a point later on in the week where it looks like JT is not going to play and Hines is also not going to play again, then you could talk about Deion Jackson at 5,900. But I think right now Walker and then those 7K guys. Several tournament plays I'm interested in, like Travis Etienne at 54 is kind of like ascending. Breece Hall at 62 is clearly taken over for the Jets. He's really good. I think those guys are interesting, but I think for cash, Walker and maybe one of those 7K guys.
Yeah, Walker will be locked. He'll be the highest owned guy in the slate, no doubt. I think Eckler's probably going to be the second highest owned on the slate. I know you didn't mention him. I know he's priced up high. I know we haven't been paying up much for running backs this year, but again, in that environment, I just feel like he's a lock this week. Like I will pay up because I think
his role has been so good too. Even in the red zone the last few weeks, like there was kind of concerns about his red zone role after that first week, but they've went to him a ton in the red zone the last couple weeks. So yeah, I do agree with that for sure.
I mean, FanDuel's a little different, although I even want Eckler on FanDuel, but I feel like he's a lock. Like you have to play him right now. And I think the big studs at wide receiver, we'll get to him, I think, don't quote me then, are kind of like not in play this week, just the way the slate's coming out. I mean, not all of them, but you know what I mean. Barkley, let's not forget him though. Like I do kind of miss the old cash games of like just find the Barkley, the Eckler, the CMC and stuff them in. I mean, let's be real. CMC, he's getting 18, 20 points a week. Sorry, of course, my phone goes off as usual.
Nice.
He's getting 20 points a week.
That's a cash process must as your
classic.
Phone going off
Yeah,
for sure.
it's a must. I'm talking about CMC. He'll probably go off, but he's getting 20 points and they're not even scoring. So he's in play. Again, if the slate dictates with cheap wide receivers, all those top guys are in play. I feel like quick look at the slate for me this week. I feel like I am gravitating towards the higher price backs this week. I don't see as much value. I mean, clearly that could change, but I kind of like DraftKings is finally looking like they're adjusting pricing a little bit. So yeah, there's that. Tournament pivots. Did we go over that? I mean, Mixon's probably in play and probably cash games as well, right?
Yeah, and then CMC has to be in there too. I mean, they kind of, I know it's a tough matchup against Tampa, but I mean, they kind of came out, they were forcing him the ball early last week, and like you said, he's been doing that really without any touchdowns. So, I mean, if you look at weighted opportunity among all the running backs on the slate, he's number 2. Do you know who's number 1 on the slate weighted opportunity?
Breece Hall.
He's up there. It's Joe Mixon is number 1. Breece Hall is number.
Is he really?
Yeah, number 6, I think. Eckler's up there. Lenny, kind of the guys we were talking about, but. Yeah, so CMC I think definitely is interesting for tournaments. Not sure if I would get there in cash over like an Eckler, but definitely in play for tournaments.
God, Savale is about to walk the first 2 batters against the Yankees right now.
Oh yeah, we're live tilting. Live tilting the Guardians game while we're doing this.
I can't even. If they, oh my God, I'm going to receiver before I lose my.
Yeah, well, what's good is Quan got on and then Ahmed Rosario tried to bunt and it was a pop out. So that's,
wow, Judge. What is that? 10 strikeouts in the series?
Yeah.
Sit down.
All right, so at receiver, I think again nothing's standing out to me early as like, wow, I really want to play this. So you have the Seattle guys who've been chalked the last like 3 weeks. They're the same prices that they have been. They're in the best game, 51 over under. They're going to be owned. Chris Godwin got back to like his full role last week. He's 6,300. He'll be owned. Mike Evans, I mean, they're already kind of talking about force feeding Mike Evans the ball because some reporter asked them about that after the game, and they were like, yeah, we need to find a way to get Mike Evans the ball. So Mike Evans at 6,900. But, I mean, Romeo Doubs is his 5K. I liked him last week. A lot of air yards again, didn't connect. They're throwing him the ball deep. He just hasn't connected on one yet. Randall Cobb's going to be out, so that kind of bumps up him and Christian Watson. And then Alec Pierce at 4,600 is kind of ascending for the Colts. I think Alec Pierce is really good. So I like him at 46, but I know I kind of just went up and down, but I don't know. It's like nothing's sticking out to me. Like there's a couple cheap guys, Dobbs and Pierce, and then, Godwin and the Seattle guys. But, I mean, that's what I think is going to be like the chalk I don't know who you like
And see,
early on.
Ben, that's why AC, your boy, comes to these podcasts prepared and does his
Yeah.
research before. That's why I was alluding to it running back. I do think this is going to be the first week of the season that, we're talking cash games right now. Like, you have to pay up at running back this week. I just think, including the flex, and just take your chances down below. To your point, uh, Dobbs is going to be the highest owned receiver on the slate. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think he had 9 or 10 targets last week. Like, at this point in the season, the DFS players out there, I mean, when they see that, that's all they need, right? Oh, he got 9 targets. He's 4,800. He's going in my cash lineup. He'll get steamed, and he's probably a good play. I'll probably play him on both sites. I think FanDuel, I saw he's 5,500, and that's an amazing play there. Your point on Alex Pierce, it kind of took me a couple of weeks. I was looking at his player profile and stuff. I mean, yeah, I think he's a little better than probably people thought, and Matt Ryan is throwing it all over the yard. I actually had Matt Ryan in my core plays 2 weeks ago, the one week where he did absolutely nothing. And he leads the league in passing yards right now.
Dude, he's.
Like,
I know, like so many people. The narrative is that Matt Ryan is washed. Now, is Matt Ryan as good as he used to be? Obviously not. But how can you expect him to do anything when their offensive line is so bad? Like
yeah,
that's what most of their struggles has been on. Is they're built on having a great line, which they have had the last 5 years, but it's not good right now. Like that's where he was struggling. It wasn't really
yeah.
Matt Ryan.
Um, yeah, that's interesting. Mike Evans, like, I'm actually going to take a note down after the podcast. You know me, I love
Mike
narratives.
Evans
Like, I
owes
just
me
love
money,
them.
man. I was all in on him last
I
week, and I don't even think it's his fault. I said this to Matt earlier today.
no,
Had I known that this loser, Tom Brady, was at a wedding and wasn't even with the team and then
yeah,
flew there separately, that would have changed things. And how did I not see
I
a report on that? I know when Tom Brady goes to the grocery store, but somehow never saw a report that he was flying separately to Pittsburgh.
Well, I actually heard that Sunday morning, like watching that ESPN, like, the boomer stuff that I watch. And I heard that and it went over my head. I was like, huh, that's interesting. Come on, Savale. He literally just hit Rizzo. I can't even. This is hard for me to focus right now. But how, when I heard that, it actually crossed my mind that, maybe I shouldn't be like is all in on the Bucks. Like I had them in a bet as well. Obviously lost that. So yeah, I mean, hindsight's 2020. But I did play Godwin in my. Did you play Evans on FanDuel? I'm guessing.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I just
okay,
had
that's
I had so
interesting.
much of him on my tournament teams. But yeah, that was a good play.
Gotcha.
That was a good play on FanDuel from you for sure.
Yeah, Godwin was pretty cheap. I kept looking at it. And I knew some people were worried about, whatever with Godwin, his health, his snaps, and all that. And it's like, man, it, they're not even winning as is. Like, he's got to be involved. And I took the trigger on FanDuel and it paid off. I mean, he played pretty well. He almost got in the end zone twice. But yeah, it looks like we're paying down. I mean, I'm with you. All the names you mentioned. Of course, Tyler Lockett is 5,800 every single week. I'll probably play him in cash games and get a 3 or a 30. So there's that. Trying to think what else, man. Like, I was looking for some cheapy guys. I mean,
I didn't mention
Wandell Robinson,
Sutton,
is there
who
a
I
thing
like
there?
at
But
62. Michael
well, you
Gallup at
can't play him
51
now.
is interesting though, for sure. Against Detroit, like really bad defense, obviously for Detroit dome game. Dak Prescott, I think, is coming back, but Michael Gallup has been like
I
he
like
hasn't
that
looked
call.
bad to me. Like just watching the games, like he looks like Michael Gallup, and he's 5100.
You
So
can't you can't play Sutton now. I mean, yeah, I guess the tournament, but you saw Wilson's out, right? MRI, hamstring, he's done.
I guess
So,
that would probably affect things for sure.
um, I mean,
Did they
Pittman, my
rule him
God,
out? I
no,
mean,
no one's.
I haven't seen like that they said he was not going to play though.
I don't think he's been rolled out, but it looks like
Oh, okay.
he's done. Dude, nobody's gonna play Michael Pittman. It's 7,400. I get it, but I mean, I played him earlier this year and I needed him big time. I had an awesome lineup. Had he just scored a touchdown on FanDuel, I'd have been to the next level. But no one's going to play him. I just guarantee it because I know how these DFS people like to think week to week. You think he's going to be highly owned, Ben? I mean, on all formats? Like, I feel like he's not.
No, he won't be. He won't be. More Pierce
People
will
will
be
just
higher
take
owned because
Pierce.
he's
Yes.
cheaper. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Agree with
So
that.
just file that in the memory bank. I almost played Juju in my main lineup. He was actually in my core plays for DraftKings. Juju is interesting again at 5,600. I think that game absolutely shoots out. I'm curious if people will end up fading it. Like, San Francisco's down like 6 or 5 of their starters now. I mean, unless something changes this week, I mean, I'm all over the Chiefs like big time this week. Like, is one of my main tournament rosters. So
Don't don't
anything else?
don't look at your TV, bro. Don't look at your TV. I'm to get to.
Oh my God. Who
just,
just hit that? Stanton?
Stanton just put one in the seats, man.
All
It's
right. So yeah, it's over.
yeah, it's over.
Fuck.
But
I'm done talking
all
about
right,
wide
let's go.
receivers right now.
Yeah, no, okay. Let's go to tight end because I want to talk to you about Mark
God damn
Andrews.
it.
Is he going to be owned? Probably. He was around 20%, I would say, last week. And I was debating him pretty heavy for cash, which I don't do. But I think I'm going to debate him pretty heavy for cash again this week. So Mark Andrews, let me rattle off his recent games against the Cleveland Browns. So we'll go back to 2019. Pretty bad game for Mark Andrews here. 4 for 31 and a touchdown, right? Second game against the Browns in 2019. 6 for 93, 2 touchdowns. 2020, 5 for 58, 2 touchdowns. 5 for 78, 4 for 65 and a touchdown. And his last game, 11 for 115 and a touchdown. He absolutely owns the Browns. They can't cover anybody. He's getting just absurd historical target share for a tight end. 34% target share for a tight end's unheard of. And yeah, it's going to just be really tough for me not to play Mark Andrews. So this might be one of the rare weeks I spend up for tight end. If I don't, there's some decent value. I don't think Cam Brate is going to play. So that gives us Cade Otton again, and he's like 2,700. And then our boy from the Broncos, Greg Dulcich, is maybe min price 2,500. We'll see. Obviously, no rust would affect that, but that's 2 sub 3K tight ends I think you can play. But I want all the Andrews this week.
Yeah, that's where my gut was on FanDuel. The problem is he's just so expensive, but I get it. FanDuel, I'm definitely probably leaning there more. DraftKings, I don't think I would play him in cash games. In fact, I'm pretty confident of that. Only because, just again, Ben, looking at the slate, I just feel like you're going to need, there's the CMC Barkley. There's too many guys that catch passes and have opportunities at running back this week that I think I want to stuff that in my lineup. I just won't have the
I will
salary
say,
left.
so if we're looking at Andrews, like I think if you just think of it like that, he's not like you could play 2 tight ends, like you could use a punt and Andrews, I think, because
True.
I just have to view Andrews like a receiver. His target share right now, 34%. It's essentially the second highest on the slate. CeeDee Lamb is slightly higher. But he has a higher target share than all of these receivers. Like it's unheard of what he's doing. So I think if you just view him more as a receiver, that kind of eases it. And I do think you could punt, like you could use a punt and then him in like the flex or something. I think that's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll finish up with
tight end?
Who else do you like? I think like Bob Tunyon, I think is interesting at 41.
Yeah, he'll get steamed. I think he's a good play though.
Yeah.
I mean, they need him at this point.
Sure. Yeah. He's been doing good. Like I played him a few weeks ago. He scored a touchdown, but he's been doing pretty good. So I think he's fine.
Honestly, I like Kittle a lot. At 5,300, his price really didn't move. He was obviously more involved. He almost caught a touchdown. I don't know if you saw that on Red Zone, but what's his name? My boy, me, aka me, overthrew him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think he is very much in play if you can make it work. Like he looks like the optimal play right now to me based on price, and they need him. I mean, they're going to be losing to KC in the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't see it. I don't know. It's just kind of how I'm anticipating that game. But all right, let's punt away a defense, and I'm just pissed about the Indians. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's bad, bro. It's just real bad.
It's over.
Yeah, I think Washington maybe at 2,500. Green Bay looks kind of bad. Anyone down there, Colts, whoever. I don't care. Panthers are 2,200. Yeah. I know, it's whatever. Whatever the cheapest defense is, I'll probably put them in.
Makes sense to me. All right, guys, good luck this week. As always, you can find all of our content at dfskarma.com and betkarma.com for all your props and betting and prize picks predictor stuff. So anything else, Ben?
No, like you said, get to the website, sign up, get in the Discord. You can get in the Discord for free, dfskarma.com/chat. And good luck this week, and we'll see you guys in week 8.